Rev up your engines!
Well, Hertz has gone further down the line. They went bankrupt, they came back, and now they're not doing too hot. Well, guess what? One, they found out that they're losing more than $1 billion on their stupid electric car gamble, where they got all those Teslas. Now they're getting rid of them because they found out that people don't want to rent them. Number two, they break down, cost a fortune to fix, so they're out of commission for a long time when they break down or if they get in a wreck and they're waiting for parts. And so the resale value of the EVs is dropping like a stone. So, Hertz only keeps the cars for so many years and they sell them. And they're finding out nobody wants to buy them used, at least not for very much money. Hertz has lost their shirt on you. I laugh when they said they're going to do it. Oh, what a brilliant idea, people say. I'm like, that's got to be the dumbest thing on earth. Most Americans don't want to rent an electric car. This is kind of the underpinnings of the entire electric car facade. Oh, yes, Americans want electric cars. No, they don't. And this is proof. They don't even want to rent an electric car. Why would they buy one if they don't even want to rent the stupid things, right? And Hertz find that out the hard way. Now, the Hertz stock is down to $3.10, not worth much. And the other thing is, if you follow the economics of it, Hertz has an extremely large amount of debts. They're operating on borrowed money, right? Just like the United States government. But the government runs things so they can just keep borrowing money, la-di-da. But private business can only go so far borrowing money. If they don't pay it back, the people are like, okay, we want our money. You're going to have to go bankrupt again if you're not going to pay us. And they've already gone bankrupt once. I just still find it absolutely hilarious. They lost over $1 billion on this stupid electric car fiasco. All they would have had to do was ask me, and I would have said, Davey, you want to try electric cars? Why don't you get 1,000 of them? Don't get a whole bunch of them and see what happens. They would have found out, gee, nobody wants to rent these stupid things. And now they're stuck with losing $1 billion. Hey, you think it's bad if you bought an electric car and then sold it and lost $20,000 or $30,000? Well, they lost $1 billion, so they're even in a bigger hole than an individual who only bought one. They got a whole bunch of them. Now they're losing $1 billion. Well, there was an EV seminar in Japan, and here's what the Japanese had to say about Chinese electric cars. The Japanese said when they checked out the BYD electric SUV, how can it be produced at such a low cost? Well, how can it be produced at such a low cost? Because they're building basic electric cars. Do you need every bell and whistle in town? No, you don't. BYD has the Dolphin and Seal, which start at $24,000. They even have one called the Seagull, which starts at under $10,000. So the Japanese are like, how can they produce it at such a low cost? Originally, the whole idea of electric cars, they said, electric cars are great because they're simpler, they're less complex. You got a complicated gasoline or diesel engine and then a very complicated automatic transmission that puts a drive to the wheels. Basically, if you have an electric car and you want to make a real basic one, you can have a battery, a controller, and electric motors. That's it. It is a lot simpler. Unfortunately, they've gone the other way. These electric cars are so complex in terms of computer systems and electronics, it would make your head spin. Some of them will have 4 or 5 different voltages they use. The computers all use, 5-volt reference signal. Some of the stuff's 12 volts, some of it's 24, some of it's 120, some of it's 240, some of it's even all the way up to 800 volts. Now, I think the main problem comes back to Tesla. The big first electric car maker was originally Tesla. Elon didn't know it. It was a company. They were going to make luxury electric cars for rich people. I make a few of them. They were Lotus-based, turned electronically. You want a snobby rich car, Lotus is one of them out there. But then Elon bought, I'm going to make them for everybody. So he made these expensive, very complex electric cars. They do not need to be that complicated. And obviously, the Chinese are making them. They can make one for 10 grand, right? Who cares if it's got a battery, the motor, and a way to control it? What the heck? It's to get you from here to there. Who cares what complexity? Does it have to talk to you? No, it doesn't have to talk to you. Does it have to drive itself? Well, they don't drive themselves anyways correctly. None of them are full self-driving level 5. So maybe the Chinese have got it right and the Japanese are studying them, taking them apart, saying, they're making them pretty simple. Oh, that's how they make them so inexpensively. They don't put all this crap that people really don't need in them. Here's one of the biggest problems with Tesla's self-driving. They wanted to turn it into what they called, quote, pure vision for self-driving. And that's one of the main reasons they're having problems. Most of the other self-driving use LiDAR, more expensive and more complex. Tesla uses radar and cameras, but LiDAR is light detection and ranging. It uses laser pulses. It works much better in the fog and in other conditions. A camera is pretty much useless in the fog, right? And recently there was an incident where a Tesla on autopilot killed a pedestrian when it was foggy outside. LiDAR would have picked it up. Now, ages ago, I guess Elon says something about, well, he's not going to use LiDAR, it's too expensive, I'm going to use cameras, right? There's a lot of problems that Tesla has created with electric cars. And a lot of it comes down to they're at the whim of Elon. Not an engineer, it's what he wants. Right? And so they come up with some pretty squirrely things like the Cybertruck, which now, I mean, something like 3% of the people who ordered a Cybertruck put in a pre-order thing, right? Only 3% are buying them, and the rest, the reservations, 97% of the reservations, no, we don't want it. Take it away, right? With the self-driving, the system that drives it is very important. And since he's not using LiDAR, that was a big mistake on his behalf. It's a better system, right? That's the problem with a lot of electronic car stuff. There's no standardization. People can make whatever they want and use a cheaper system. They should have had their batteries in Tesla sealed so salt water can't get in them. In the winter when you're driving around up north and they're pouring salt on the road to keep ice from forming, right? That gets and destroys the batteries over time. A lot of the stuff doesn't have to do with quality. It has to do with cheaper manufacturing. Just like a lot of them are now using those lithium iron phosphate batteries. Instead of lithium ion phosphate, they're using lithium iron phosphate. Why? Because they're cheaper to build. They don't have as much range. They cost less money to build. So this myth of as the future goes on, these things are going to have more and more range, blah. No, they aren't. They're actually having less because they're using cheaper batteries that have less range because it costs less money to build them. Well, could things get worse for Boeing, all right? Their planes are falling apart. They sent that spaceship in outer space and it stuck with the astronauts in it. Then when it came back down, it still had a problem, right? Well, now a large Boeing satellite suddenly exploded into the pieces in outer space. Yeah, they really don't know what they're doing in that company, right? A Boeing satellite that belongs to a multinational service provider, Intelsat, mysteriously blew into pieces over the weekend. Just blew up, right? Now, some of this, who knows? But with old Elon throwing his satellites everywhere, and they got all those satellites everywhere, I'm sure they're going to all start running into each other. Now, their official update says that an anomaly caused the satellite dubbed IS-33E to be destroyed, resulting in a total loss. They call it a total loss, right? Now they said they don't know why it blew up, and they're tracking 20 associated pieces that are now flying around. I'm sure there's more than 20 pieces, but those must be the big ones, right? That are flying around in outer space. Now, Boeing, come on now. This company has got problems, right? Serious problems. And one of the problems is we taxpayers are funding a lot of it. They do a lot of military stuff, right? And they just rip us off, make crappy stuff. Hey, somebody needs to get some investigation in it. Perhaps give the context to a better company that can make things correctly. Now their satellites in outer spaces are having anomalies and are exploding on outer space. What's next? I can't wait to see. Well, here's some travel news. You might not want to stay at a Hilton hotel. When you're driving around, a Hilton Diamond member was banned after an injury in the shower and was hit with a $150 charge for blood-stained towels. A woman was banned from a Southern California DoubleTree hotel. She cut herself shaving her leg, used a towel to stop the bleeding. So the hotel charged $150 for the towels and banned the customer without even warning ahead of time. You'd think they'd be sorry that somebody got injured in their hotel room. No. They banned them and said, here's $150 for a towel. A used towel. I mean, what are these towels made out of? Gold, right? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to charge that kind of money. But of course, their hotel, they can do whatever they want. Then they banned them from using it again. Well, gee, what if they would have bled all over the place, got blood on the carpet? What, do they charge for a new carpet too? They asked her if she was okay. They just, we're going to ban you. You're cleaning up a mess with towels. Now, they're towels. They're made for cleaning up messes, right? Did these people ever hear of bleach? You can get blood out of towels pretty easy. Clean them, bleach them. They're white towels after all, right? But it just goes to show, hey, what goes on, they're not even thinking about their own clientele. Are you okay? All right, you got blood on the towels. Hey, don't ever come here again. And you owe us $150 for the stupid towels. How absurd. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.